Hi everybody, welcome back to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022, and this is my complete new players, new starters, beginners guide to the multiplayer. So if you're familiar with Call of Duty already and now to play it, this really isn't for you. This is for people who are just starting off and thinking, God, I really want to have a go at this, but I'm struggling. Or maybe you're a veteran player who's coming back after several years and are like, oh, I could really do with like a refresher, and that's what we're going to be doing. So first up, when you want to get into multiplayer, the most important two things for me are make sure you wear a headset, and if you can, use a wired connection from your console or your PC to your router. So they're really important, those two things, especially the headset, because sound is so important. So what you'll see in the description below this video there are a few timestamps that you can click through. But what we're going to be covering basically is the settings you might want to think about using, whether you should play the campaign or not, the different loadouts you could use, the different game modes to play, basic movements. We're going to look at a speed and accuracy drill. And we're going to look at playing a simple bot match to get you familiar with some of the core concepts, and then our conclusion. And our conclusion basically will be the most important thing in Call of Duty multiplayer is to have fun. Okay, so let's dive in straight away and let's have a look at the settings. So on Xbox, we press that little button with the three lines on it, and then we go across to the settings. Let's start off with controller. Now, I'm really talking about controllers here, so for PlayStation or Xbox, not really talking about keyboard, but the concepts will be the same. So let's just go down and have a look. So controller vibration, turn that off. You don't need that. Now, stick sensitivity. Now, this is incredibly important. Far too many people, when they start off, and even when they're playing a lot, have their sensitivity set way too high. So make sure you have it nice and low, and especially if you find that when you go to aim at someone, you kind of go past them and have to pull your aim back onto them. That's because your sensitivity is too high. So reduce it down, and then as you get better and better, you can increase your sensitivity. But any changes you make to sensitivity, make them and then play like that for several hours or even days. Keep it like that for a long time so that the muscle memory in your thumbs will have time to adjust. And if you're struggling with accuracy, just turn that sensitivity down, honestly. ADS sensitivity multiplier, I have that on 1, and that's all the same there. Vertical aim axis, I'm an invert type of person. Aim down sight behavior, hold. Automatic sprint off. Equipment behavior, hold. Weapon mount activation, ADS plus melee. So this is when you want to rest your gun against a surface. So your left trigger to aim down sight, and then you click in your right stick, and then you'll kind of mount on a surface to reduce recoil. Interact reload behavior, tap to reload. You may want to change this. Now, this will change when we're starting to play Warzone 2 in a few weeks' time. You may want to put on prioritize reload. That way, if you the classic thing that happens is you'll get in a gunfight, you'll kill someone, all right, and you'll think, I need to reload now, but there'll be a gun on the ground, and instead of reloading, you'll pick up their gun. Honestly, it happens a lot. Armor plate behavior, apply all. Again, that will be really from when we're starting to play Warzone. Now, if we press the top right shoulder button, let's have a look at some advanced things. So aim assist type, maybe start off with focusing, but default or Black Ops is probably okay. And again, just like with the sensitivity, with the aim assist, that basically helps you to lock onto targets. Whatever you choose, stick with it for a long time, for at least several hours, if not several days. Now, I use the linear response curve type. So the aim response curve, what that is as you move your stick over, say to the right, your left stick over to the right, and the character starts to turn, the more you move it, the faster your character turns, if you are having a dynamic or even a standard type. With linear, the rate of increase is basically on a straight line. And that's what I've always had through Call of Duty, so I would go that. Transition time instant. Dead zones, there is a little bit of debate over this, the fact that you might want to reduce them down a little bit so that you can make smaller movements, and also you could argue that your triggers, you would want to put those down a little bit. However, just be careful, especially with the trigger dead zones, because what ends up happening is you end up firing your gun by mistake a few times. What else do we have? Sprint, tactical behaviour, toggle, auto move forward, off, tactical sprint behaviour, double tap, ground mantle on. Yeah, all this stuff. This is all just, this is as it is on default. Okay, so we can come out there. Now let's have a look at graphics. On-demand text streaming on, world motion blur off, weapon motion blur off, film grain 0, depth of field off. So the idea of these is, although those above settings make the game look better, any sort of blurring or film grain that could possibly obscure your enemies, especially when they're in darker areas, we want to get rid of that. So although this makes the game look a little bit worse, in multiplayer, it's about being competitive, isn't it? You don't want to be able to see people hiding, so turn them off. Fidelity kick, CAS, this is to do with sharpness. At the moment, I've got it as 1. This may well change over time. Field of view, very important. This is fantastic that we have this on console now. Now, I have mine set to 100, so this is how much of the scene you can see in front of you. And obviously, the more you can see further to the left and the right, which is really powerful, especially when you come into clear rooms, because as you go through a door, you can sort of see in the corners without having to turn, which is very good. However, as your field of view gets bigger, your sensitivity gets higher as well, because as you turn, more of the screen has to turn. And I've found at the moment that 100 is a really nice sweet spot. 120 I feel is a little bit too much. The other thing that happens as well is that when you have a wider field of view, the apparent recoil of your gun goes down. All right, the actual recoil doesn't, but because you're seeing more of the screen, the relative size of your gun is smaller. So when it's bouncing up and down and the screen bounces up and down, it bounces up and down less. So it can be actually easier to stay on target. Third person, I would put that up to 100 as well. This is all defaults. Brightness, again, follow the guidance for the brightness. If you find you can't see enemies, turn the brightness up. Say favourite, that sort of stuff. Audio, incredibly important. I'll keep saying this all the way through. In multiplayer, the ability to hear enemies' footsteps will be the difference between you living and dying so many times. Because when you can hear someone coming and you get good at it and good at judging when people are about to run around a corner, you can even start pre-firing. So what that means is when I know someone's about to run around this corner, you start shooting before they come around the corner and you definitely kill them, and you negate something called pusher's advantage, which we're going to be talking about later. And so that's it's so important to have your headphones on and have them turned up. Now, for this particular case of recording this video, I have to turn the volume down, otherwise the game audio goes over my audio, so that's why that's so low. However, you want yours up at 100. However, you may want to turn down the music volume, the dialogue volume, and the hit marker volume. This is all to do with that when you're in a situation where the game's going, the enemy have captured B, or they've called in a UAV or something, and then someone's running towards you at the same time, you always want to be able to hear those footsteps. Subtitles and all that sort of stuff. Voice chat, I have it off. Obviously, if you're playing with friends, have that on. Now, interface and account and network. What I would suggest is that hopefully what we'll see over the next few weeks is we will see them introduce a ability to turn off crossplay in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022. At the moment on Xbox and PC, there's no option to. And the reason for that is because I have no problem playing against PlayStation players as an Xbox player, because we're both in walled gardens. The chances of coming across a cheater are very, very low. Unfortunately, the cheater situation on PC is rampant in so many games. And although Activision have put an awful lot of resources in trying to reduce cheaters, with PC, when you're playing against PC players, you just don't know. And it makes you question yourself. When you're in a 50-50 gunfight and you lose, and you think, well, maybe I should have won that. When you're playing against PC players, often you think, well, maybe it's because he's got auto aim on, or he's got a radar where he can see through walls, or a wall hack or something like that. So hopefully that will then be an option. And I will recommend, when that becomes an option, turn crossplay off. Or hopefully the best way they should do it is they should have the option to have crossplay between consoles, just like PUBG is. PC players can play by themselves in their own little walled garden, and they can do that. But so that's what I kind of think. So they're the basic settings. So the next thing I think you should do if you're a new player to Call of Duty or come back is you should play the campaign. Honestly, work your way through the campaign as much as you can before you get bored, because it will introduce all of the basic movements that you've got to do. So running, jumping, climbing, crouching, crawling, changing weapons, reloading, all that sort of stuff. The campaign is very, very good for that. Play it on the normal level. You don't need to play it on veteran or anything like that. Just get used to the game, get used to those settings we've put in, and you will become a lot more fluid. And the campaign in Modern Warfare 2 2022 is pretty fun. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about, if I go into it properly, is we're going to be talking about loadouts. There's a lot of subjects we have to cover, and some of these might not seem to be in the right order, but let's just go for it. So you may well have to come back to this. So when you first start playing the multiplayer and you're level 0, you have to play with the default loadouts. And the way that progression works in Call of Duty is that as you play and as you kill people and take objectives, your character's level will go up. So if we look in the top right hand corner for me, you see that kind of yellow 3/4 circle that says 29. So my character's a level 29. So as we're going along, we unlock stuff. So we'll unlock different weapons, different kill streaks, different score streaks, and we'll unlock different secondaries, grenades, all that sort of stuff. And then within the particular weapon that you're using, you will level that up. So if we go into my loadout, for example, and we look at my M4 there, if you look in the bottom left hand corner, you'll see it says M4 level 20 of 20. So if we go into the gunsmith, what this basically means is as we go into things, you can see I've started to unlock bits as we go along. And if you look sort of up towards the top left-hand side of the screen, it tells you how you have to unlock those particular items. So we unlock things like extra weapons and things like that by upgrading our character, and we unlock attachments by using the gun. So when you first start off, in terms of loadouts, you'll have to use the default one. And the default ones are very good. The default M4 is very good. There's AK 74U, which is very good, and the middle one, which I forget the name of, but it's a PDW, it's a little submachine gun, is very good. You can enjoy those loadouts, and in fact, a lot of the time when I'm jumping into the game, I use the AK 74U because it comes with a nice little package. When you get to level 4 though, you can start using your own one, and what we're going to talk about here is kind of maybe what you could think about moving towards. So what we have here is we have the M4. Then if we go into the gunsmith to see what we've got, I've put the 45 round mag on it, 5.56 armor piercing. No matter what gun you go for, the armor piercing ammunition is incredibly important. So this enables you to what we call wall bang. So all of the guns and all the bullets in Call of Duty will, to a certain extent, penetrate surfaces, depending on their power, their caliber and that sort of stuff. But when you have armor piercing, that will go through surfaces easier. And what that means is when you're shooting at someone and then they go behind cover, so they even run into a building, keep following them and keep firing at them, and some of your bullets may well go through and then kill the person. And that's what armor piercing does. I've got the shark fin underbarrel just to reduce recoil. I've got the 20-inch barrel again to reduce recoil, and the Precio factory stock again to reduce recoil. For me, I want my weapon in lots of cases, especially when I'm playing things like domination or team deathmatch. I want it basically to have as little recoil as possible. And what you can do as well, let's go back into the gunsmith. If you press Y, that will be triangle on PlayStation, you can go into the firing range and you can actually play around with it, so you can test the recoil. Now, although if I just pull the trigger, for example, with this gun, you'll see the gun does go up, so the recoil does go up, but just having vertical recoil is very easy to control. So I can just pull the right trigger to start firing and then push forward on my right stick, and I can control that recoil. And as you can see, the iron sights on the M4 are really, really good. So let's come out of here. And then I recommend you run something like the Pillar as your secondary. This is a rocket launcher, and what you're going to be doing with this is you're going to be using it to shoot down UAVs and counter UAVs. It's easy XP to help you get you leveled up. So as soon as you hit the announcement, enemy UAV in the air, you just swap to your Pillar, look up, look for the UAV, and then shoot it down. Tactical, smoke grenade. I use that because I play domination a lot, and the smoke grenade is great for throwing onto the flag so that people can't see you when you're capturing it. Frag grenade, you may want to swap between something like the frag grenade, the Molotov, and the Semtex. The Semtex is a sticky grenade, so it'll stick to whatever you throw it at, so that's fun for getting stuck medals. So when you throw it at someone, it sticks them, they run around and then they explode. The Molotov cocktails is really cool for denying an area. Again, for something like domination, you can throw it at the flag, it will spread out and it will stop people capturing the flag. Drill charge is fun. You throw that onto a wall, it drills through the wall and then explodes. So again, if people are in cover, it's good. But the good old frag is alright. So with the frag, you can cook it. So what that means is you select it, you press and hold your top right button, and then you hold it for a couple of seconds and then you release it. Don't hold it too long or it'll explode in your hand and kill you. And then it will explode earlier. So getting that sort of kill is really good fun. And the frag will bounce off walls, so you can throw it through windows and it'll bounce around and kill people. Or if you don't want to look directly at a flag, for example, you can bounce the frag off a wall and then kill people that way. Perk package. I don't think you can go wrong off with the Phantom one, because you get battle hardened and double time, so you can run faster and you'll have less effect from stuns. Cold blooded means that you won't get spotted by AI score streaks, so things like sentry guns and something like the any of the aircraft that come in that are controlled by AI, and then you end up with Ghost at the end, so people can't see you on the radar, which is cool. So I think that's a nice one to have. By the time you get leveled up, where you can start choosing your own custom mods, you'll know what they do. Field upgrade trophy system. This is specifically for domination, really. The idea with this is that you throw it down near the flag, and as players throw grenades in or fire rockets in or even call in cruise missiles, the trophy system will take them out. So it's very, very good for that. If you are playing the other game modes, it's not quite as useful in something like team deathmatch or free-for-all, so you may want to go for something like deployable cover. Portable radar's good. You know, drop that down and you can see players coming on you. What else have we got? Anti-armor rounds. Again, that's good for killing people quickly. The good old munitions box. If you find that all of a sudden you're killing like 6-7 people in a row and you're running out of ammunition, then you've got the munitions box. However, one of the most fun things I think in Call of Duty is that when you're on a bit of a run and you've killed 2, 3, 4 players and you're starting to run out of ammunition, just pick up their gun and use their gun to kill them. I love doing that. Okay, let's come out of there and then let's look at kill streaks. So the good old UAV and cruise missile you'll start off with, and I think the SAE is the other one, which are fine. You can stick with them as long as you like. When you unlock it, the sentry gun, I like using that for domination because it's AI controlled. You plonk it down, you put a trophy system in front of it, and it will just sit there killing enemies. So if the B flag is particularly open, you can use it to defend the B flag, or you can just put it somewhere where it's got a good view of the battlefield, and it will get you some nice kills. I think it's pretty cool. Okay, so that's the sort of weapon loadouts to use. Now, let's talk about game modes that you're going to be playing. Now, I think as a new player, the 3 game modes that it's worth playing are Team Deathmatch, Free-for-All, and Domination. And you can select these, and you're making your own, what we would call a mosh pit of different game modes. So when you select these, the game you'll go through and you'll play, say, Team Deathmatch, and then you'll play a free-for-all and play Domination, or you might play 2 Dominations in a row, then a free-for-all. And they're a good mix of games that will offer you different experiences and teach you different things. So Team Deathmatch, 2 teams of 6, just got to kill each other. nice and easy, but you've got teammates with you as well. And the beauty of that with teammates is they actually are your own personal UAV or radar on the minimap. And when we go into some of these bot matches, you'll see what I'm talking about. When you have teammates with you and you look at the minimap, you know that wherever the teammates aren't, that's where the enemies are. And that's the key to minimap awareness, basically, is you look at the minimap, okay, so my teammates are there, so that must mean the enemies aren't there, unless your teammates are firing, obviously. So they must be over there, so they must be coming in that direction, so you know which way to face and which way to go. Now, free-for-all is just, 12 players, everybody got to kill each other. And it's very, very good for improving your sound ability, your ability to listen for footsteps and predict where people are coming from. It's also one of the most exciting game modes to play, especially when you're getting near the top of the leaderboard, because it'll change between your third, your second, your first. Very, very good fun free-for-all. Very, very different from Team Deathmatch and Domination. I really enjoy free-for-all. And then we have Domination. So Domination is an objective-based game mode. So we have 3 flags on the map, A, B and C, B normally being in the middle and A and C at the other ends. And your team, again it's 6v6, gets points by owning the flag. So to own a flag, you jump on it, near it, you'll capture it, and then you can move off the flag, and that flag starts earning you points. And whoever gets to the point limits first at the end wins. And the beauty with objective-based game modes is that your ability to help your team isn't really just based on killing people. It's based on capturing flags as well. Now, with all these game modes, Team Deathmatch, Free-for-all, and Domination, there's lots of different styles and play styles and tactics you can use. And don't think you've got to run around like a headless chicken all the time trying to get the most amount of kills. When you're playing Team Deathmatch, or when you're playing Free-for-all, for example, where the game is based on killing other players, to know whether you're doing good or not, all you have to remember is you just need to kill more players than you've died. So if you're playing Team Deathmatch, for example, and you choose to play what I would call defensively, or some people would call it camping, so you find an area and think, I'm going to defend this area, I'm just going to shoot people as they come to me. Do that for free-for-all as well. If you, by the end of the game, you've only killed 5 players, but you've only died 3 times, you've contributed +2 to your team, which is better than someone who's been running around like a headless chicken, and yeah, they've got 15 kills, but they've died 17 times, because that's -2. So always bear that in mind. There's nothing wrong with playing defensively in Call of Duty, especially in free-for-all, especially in Domination. You may well choose in Domination to just defend your team's home flag all the time. So you have A, B and C. So I'm just going to stick on the C flag all the time. I'm going to defend it so the enemies can't keep flanking us, and so I'm going to anchor my team to the C flag so they know they can come off the spawn somewhere safe and they can capture the B flag, and I'm just going to stay there all of the match. Nothing wrong with that at all. Don't think you've got to run around like a headless chicken. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go into a bot match without any bots, and we're just going to run around, and I just want to show you some basic concepts when it comes to movement in Call of Duty. So what we're going to do, we're going to come down here, we're going to go to private match, create a private match, and you can do this, and we'll choose, let's choose Domination, doesn't really matter, and then we're going to go to game setup, and we're going to go to bots, and we're going to have no bots, excellent. And then we're going to go to the rules, and I'm just going to change the unlimited time limit. Excellent. So let's just start this match. And actually, which map? Farm's a good match to do it on. So we have the ability within Call of Duty. We have this ability within most CODs to play against AI bots. So again, don't think just because you play multiplayer that you have to play against real people to start off with. So now, let me show you. So if we press RB, you can see these are the default loadouts you could use. So that's the 74U there. This is a really good loadout here. Now, as we're playing now, the volume of the game audio might be a little bit high. So if it is, my apologies, but it should get quiet in a minute. Okay, so here we go. So we're on this map. There's no bots. Alright, so let's just look at the map. So this is Domination map. So you can see we've started down in the bottom. Now the C flag is over to the right. You could call that our home flag. B flag in the middle, that's the neutral one. And A flag will be the enemy's flag. Now these flags can flip around. So if the enemy captures C, we may well capture B. But generally, the enemies will be spawning around the A flag. So to start off with, we know that's where they're going to be coming from. Now let's take a look at that mini-map in the top left-hand corner. The red area is out of bounds. As you see, it turns around with me. And as we go into other bot matches, just keep looking at the mini-map and just remember, wherever the friendly forces are, so whether the dots are for your teammates, that's where the enemies aren't. So how do we move around the map? How do we, what are the basics? So I just want to talk about, to start off with, right-hand advantage and pusher's advantage first. Excuse me. So right-hand advantage is basically the fact that every single character in Call of Duty is right-handed. As you can see, they're all right-handed. And if we come up to a wall here, imagine you're holding a gun right now as you're sitting watching this video, or standing watching this video. Your left hand is up holding the barrel, and your right arm is kind of pushed back, and your trigger. So you don't stand straight on, do you? You kind of stand at an angle, which means that in this particular situation here, if we're aiming here, the majority of our body will be behind the wall to the left, won't it? Because that's how we're standing. Our left arm, most of it will be the bulk of our body. Our right eye will just be poking out a little bit to look down the sides. So we're exposing less of our body by doing this. However, if we were to go over here and go this way, and we have to aim like this, the only bit we've got behind cover on the right-hand side is our right arm on our right shoulder. So we're very, very exposed. So this is right-hand advantage. It means that it's safer to kind of hold a position like this than it is to hold a position like this. But that's how lots of people play the game as well. So although this is the kind of a safer way to move, bear in mind that people know this. And it means that people have a tendency, as they are moving around the map, to move around the map anti-clockwise, like this, to go this way, rather than go like this. So you can use that to your advantage. When you're starting off, though, I would say try and use right-hand advantage. Now, pusher's advantage is a result of the fact that this game is played on the internet. And what it means is that as we're moving around, like we're moving around now and jumping up and down and going down, the game has to transmit what we're doing from our local console or local PC to the central server, or it could be another console or PC that's hosting the game. And then that has to tell everybody else where, what they're doing. And what that means is that if you're running, especially if you're moving fast and jumping like this, you may sometimes see the person who is defending a corner like this before they see you. And it's just something that happens with online shooters. So, for example, what you'll see all the time is you'll be here, for example, defending this corner, and you'll see someone, they'll jump and they'll spin and they'll shoot you like that. And you'll think, oh, I didn't see them coming really, especially when you watch the death cam. And that's really due to pusher advantage and lag. The better the internet connection you have, and the less lag you have, the less of that happens. But it is just a fact of life. So sometimes what will happen is you'll think, oh, I've got a really good position here. I've got a really good position defending this. And then someone will jump around and kill you. And you think, well, that's not really fair. And that's just pusher's advantage. So don't get too annoyed by that. Right, so next up, let's talk about centering. This is super important. So, as we're just moving around the map like so, you see I've got my crosshairs in the middle. What you want to try and think about is you should always have your crosshairs, even when you're not aiming down sight, roughly where you think an enemy could be. And that way, when an enemy appears, we can start shooting straight away, but we can also aim down sight straight away. And it means that we don't have to aim when we ADS as much. So let's say we're coming around this corner. Let's imagine that target there is an enemy. So as we're coming around here, and we spot the enemy now. Now I need to move all the way along to there, don't I? And if I was aiming down sight, I have to move all that way. Whereas if I was keeping my crosshairs roughly where we think the enemy might be, when I come to aim down sight, I'm really on target already. And when you're on target like that, what you want to do is to actually get onto target a little bit. You want to use your left stick, so you want to strafe left and right, because it's a lot easier to do that than to use your right stick, which is often a little bit too sensitive. So as we're moving along, now we know there is a doorway there. So as we're moving along here, we're thinking about moving our crosshairs into that gap there. There's a doorway there, so we keep that here. Now as we come to here, obviously you've got to choose, where do I think the threat level will be? Will it be to my left? Will it be to my right? Could it be up there, for example? And you make these decisions based on what you see on the minimap. So you look at the minimap and go, okay, well, let's imagine I had some friendly players to my right. So that means the enemies are probably to my left. So in this case, we would keep our crosshairs kind of here. There's a door there, so we're ready to do that. And then the A flag is there, so we're ready to do that. So let's move around here. So again, we're keeping our crosshairs roughly where we think an enemy would be if they were to run out or if they were defending a corner or something like that. So we're moving around. And as we get here, again, we're tightening it up. Enemies could be down here. And what we're not doing is we're not keeping our crosshairs something like that, so there's going to be no enemy there. And there could be an enemy run out behind there. So we're slowly moving along like this. Now, let's say we think someone will be there. So what we could do is we could switch there. Now, just remember, though, that when it comes to the sides, if enemies could be there, you're going to base your decision about whether to look there on the mini-map. However, the most important place to be looking is normally in front of you, the direction you're going in. Because it's very easy to kind of go, oh yeah, and move like this, and then there's an enemy over there. So as we come down here, are they going to be to the left, or is there a chance they're going to be running out over here? So we could check here, are they up at that window? Now as we come around here, let's keep centering, they could be there. Now as we come down here, there's like a basement that's down low, and a window that's up high. So we're going to try and keep it over the window, just in case. And then we're going to be moving down there. Now, as you're moving around as well, if you want to move around quieter, you can crouch run, crouch walk, or you can crouch sprint. That'd be a little bit noisier. Or just move slowly, and you won't expose as much of yourself as you would. If you're sprinting, and tactical sprinting, so it's tactical sprint, so if you just click once, you'll do a normal sprint, but if you click twice, your left stick in, you'll do a fast sprint like that. If when you're sprinting you tap on the B button on Xbox, or that would be the circle button on PlayStation, you'll do a slide, combat slide. If you press and hold that button, you'll do a swan dive, which can be good for not seeing anybody. But don't worry about doing too many gymnastics to start off with. Just concentrate on those basics of centering and keeping your crosshairs where enemies might be. Okay, so let's have a quick look at mounting as well. So when you come up to a corner, see in the bottom right and bottom centre of the screen it says RS mount, so that then locks our gun in position, so we have much less recoil. It does limit where we can aim though, so just be careful about that. And also, let's talk about hard aiming. And you'll see a lot of criticism for hard aiming if you're on websites and discussion forums. And hard aiming is basically when you're going around a corner, you keep ADS. And in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with doing this. So, for example, let's go over here. So where the B flag is. So let's say we're going to go through this door here, right? And there could be someone hiding there. There is nothing wrong with aiming down sight like this and coming in like this, so you're ready to shoot them. There's nothing wrong with walking along like this as you're going around. The disadvantage with doing it is obviously you're losing your peripheral vision, and you're losing your ability to turn quite as fast. But hard aiming, there's nothing wrong with it. And if you want to play by hard aiming, then by all means go for it. And then the last thing I really want to talk about is pre-firing. And pre-firing, I think, is one of the keys to getting higher streaks when you're playing. So in order to earn things like your UAV and your sentry gun and all that sort of stuff, you've either got depending on how you've got it set up, you've got to kill players or you've got to score. But generally, the longer you stay alive, the better the streaks you will have. And pre-firing is basically as if I come around here, and I'm pretty sure there's someone there. Maybe I've seen them on the UAV, they've come up on the mini-map, or I've heard them, or I've seen them fire. What that means is you start firing your gun before you can actually see them. So you would come around and basically you would start firing before you go. And that will give you the advantage. Now pre-firing as well helps to negate pusher's advantage. So let's say I'm defending this angle here, and then someone is going to go and come and jump through here like they do and try and get me. If I hear them sprinting along here, before I even see them come through the door, just kind of aim probably slightly off the door, because they're going to jump through it, because they always jump through it. And then as soon as you think they're going to be coming through the door, start firing and start hitting them, and you'll be amazed how many kills you get. Now you will be giving away your position, so obviously people can hear and they'll see it on the I think you see it on the mini-map, don't you, if they've got your UAV up. But definitely consider doing that. So there we go. So that's the basic movement. Right hand advantage, pusher's advantage, centering, pre-aiming, and pre-firing. And just always be practicing them all the time. and you'll be amazed how many times you'll get kills and you'll win gunfights. Okay, so what we'll do now is let's come out of here, and let's look at basically a speed and accuracy drill that you can run. That again is very important because again you don't have to dive into a multiplayer against real players straight away. We can play against bots. So what we're going to do, we're going to set up a free-for-all speed and accuracy drill. As soon as this drops out of here, let's log back in. Let's go down. Let's log in. Probably is there going to be an update? No. Okay, so we're going to go to private match, create private match, and we're going to play free for all. Wait for it to set it up. We're going to game setup. We'll do it on farm 18 again. We'll keep to the standard game rules. What you could do if you wanted to, you could increase the time limit, for example, and increase the number of points. And then you go over to gameplay, and you could do maximum ammo mags as well. And then what you could do is you could, if we go to radar always on, that can be useful. So we can have constant radar. So this means that we can see the enemies on the minimap. And as far as bots go, we can have 5 bots. You just want dumb bots. These bots, all they are is they're just mobile targets for you. We're not challenging ourselves with really good AI. This is just to get us used to aiming, firing and shooting and reloading and general movement. So we'll do that. And let's just start a match. So this is going to be free for all. So it's us versus everybody else. But the other bots are going to be trying to kill each other as well. So this is an opportunity we can use to practice our hearing as well. And I think, okay, where was that coming from? Where are they? And also we can look at the minimap as well. So let's go to the default. Let's use the stalker one. Right. So keep an eye on the minimap. And listen. Right, so the people over here. So let's keep centering. Okay, we're not sprinting around. There we go. Now, have a look at the bottom left-hand corner. I've still got 18 bullets left. Now, that's more than enough to kill another enemy if they were to come up on me. So never reload until you're absolutely safe to do so. So we're safe here, so let's reload. A real bad habit to get into is reloading immediately after you kill someone. Because all that will happen then is that you will as you're reloading, the enemy player will another enemy player will come around the corner and kill you. Now because we've got radar always on, we can see exactly where they get. Right, so guys get that. So what you'll do is you kind of look at the minimap every couple of seconds, just to have an idea where the enemies are. And you just do this for sort of like half an hour. In fact, if you do this for 15 minutes every day before you jump into multiplayer matches against players, oh, I got killed by a bot. How embarrassing. So we're always just centering, hugging the walls. Pre-fire. There we go. I guess we could see him. Ooh. Where's he gone? There we go. So that should give you the idea of what this is. And you just run this, and this is literally just a drill. We're just building in muscle memory to our thumbs. And this is a great way to learn. So there we go. So we've covered a lot of the basics. I tell you what we're going to do. Before we finish, let's quit out of here. And let's just talk about domination. So we'll jump into a domination game. We'll create a bot domination game. I guess the thing about Call of Duty, and any multiplayer shooter as well, is the most important thing is to have fun while you're playing it. And that's why I think it's important to cycle between something like free-for-all, domination, and team deathmatch. Because that gives you a little bit of change in tactics, a little bit of change in gameplay, especially when you start playing free-for-all. But let's do domination. Game setup, here we go. Do it on that. Bots will have. There we go. They're all dumb bots. Let's just make sure we haven't got the radar horizon is off. Cool. Right, let's start. So domination, being objective based, again, is one of those game modes where it doesn't matter if you kill lots of players. All you've really got to do is play the objective. And there's nothing wrong with defending an objective and camping and playing defensively, because there's so many people who will be running around. Right, let's use the Russia loadout this time. There's so many players who will just run around jumping and doing all sorts of crazy stuff because it looks cool and their favourite streamers do it. But by playing a little bit more, I would say, tactically and defensively, you'd be amazed how many times you can take them off, especially in something like domination. So here we go. So when you start off with domination, I would suggest always capture the home flag first, because by capturing the home flag, you're going to get some points for that. As you get more advanced, you can just rush for the B flag straight away. Where's all my buddies gone? Oh, I haven't spawned them in. Whoops. Okay, we can still talk about this. So let's capture. So we captured our home flag. Now we want to think about the B flag. So normally there'd be enemies over here. Let's snip into here, and here's the B flag. And then what I would normally do is I'd be putting my trophy system down. If I was capturing this out of smoke grenade, I'll put my smoke grenade down. Always be moving. Chances are someone will be coming in. If you want to know which direction they're coming from, just look on the mini-map, and basically where you can't see your friends, your teammates, that's where the enemies are. Now, once you capture something like the B flag, you can drop off it. You don't want to stand on the B flag like here, because they'll be throwing stuff on it. You can drop off it, say back to here, or you could go around here. In this particular case, this is really good defensive position. People will run through there, people will run through there, and you can get to know the map. So there you go, we've covered an awful lot of stuff. There are millions of videos out there talking about how to get better at Call of Duty, but hopefully by going through some of these real basics, I'll have introduced you to some core concepts that will see you good, not only through Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, but Warzone 2, but also other online shooters as well, whether they be Battlefield or third-person shooters or first-person shooters. If you have found this useful, please put your questions and comments down below. Subscribe and like. Yeah, have fun. And I will, of course, see you all again soon.